What if I told you the same companies responsible for making cigarettes addictive are now behind the food you eat? And worse, the very scientists who engineered cigarettes addiction have been weaponizing our food. This isn't a conspiracy theory, my friends. It's a hidden crisis that's been plaguing America for decades. Well, today, from the insights shared in the September 25th Senate Roundtable on American Health and Nutrition, we're exposing the harsh truth behind America's ultra-processed food industry and its link to chronic illness. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, my goal is to encourage you to rethink your eating habits and make better choices for yourself and, most importantly, for your family based on truthful information. Our food system is making us sick. Chronic diseases, obesity, and mental health are skyrocketing. But here's what most people don't know. This crisis didn't happen by accident. It was engineered. Cigarette companies, after their decline in the 80s, shifted their focus to food, hiring thousands of addiction specialists to apply their knowledge to food production. They knew exactly what they were doing, making food as addictive as their former product.
Cigarette companies were the highest payers of scientists, one of the biggest employers of scientists to make the cigarettes addictive. They moved these addiction specialists to the food department by the thousands, and those scientists weaponize our ultra-processed food.
Now, ultra-processed foods dominate our grocery stores and daily diets. The bright packaging, irresistible taste, and convenience make them hard to avoid. But behind the marketing lies a harsh reality. These foods are engineered to keep you hooked. A 2022 study revealed that ultra-processed foods meet the same criteria for addictive substances as tobacco. In fact, they drive us to overeat by as much as 800 calories per day due to their obesogenic effects.
Ultra-processed foods, the kinds of foods that typically line our supermarket aisles, are engineered to be hyper-palatable and addictive. In fact, according to a study published by Gerhard et al. In 2022, ultra-processed foods meet the exact same criteria for addictive substances as tobacco products.
This isn't just about weight gain. These foods are contributing to 90% of the leading causes of death in the U.S. Heart disease, diabetes, cancers, disease linked directly to our weaponized food system.
American children are fat, diabetic, and increasingly miserable. As they progress towards middle age, those yet not captured in childhood by obesity, insulin resistance, high blood sugar, and inflammatory dysfunction are likely to suffer it then, with near certainty by the onset of a declining old age. And expensively so. What might we aim for instead? Slim, healthy, athletic, optimistic, and courageous children. Strong, psychologically integrated, generous adults. Resilient, active, productive seniors, still contributing to their communities. Combined with either or both of much less spending or much better results for the cost.
And it's not just about the food itself. The regulatory agencies responsible for protecting our health, like the FDA and USDA, are being manipulated by the same industries they're supposed to regulate.
The FDA, the USDA, and the CDC are all controlled by giant for-profit corporations. Their function is no longer to improve and protect the health of Americans. Their function is to advance the mercantile and commercial interests of the pharmaceutical industry that has transformed them, and the food industry that has transformed them into sock puppets.
Certain demographics are hit harder by this crisis. Take Black Americans, for example.
Black Americans consume, on average, 80% of their calories from ultra-processed food.
This isn't by accident. It's a systematic problem rooted in targeting marketing and food deserts and limited access to healthy options. But make no mistake, this is an issue facing all Americans. American companies even export healthier versions of their products to other countries. For example, Skittles in Europe are free of harmful chemicals like titanium dioxide, while the US version is loaded with it. It's banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. But in the US, it's business as usual.
American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here.
This problem isn't just theoretical. It's personal for millions. Take, for instance, Michaela Peterson, who shares her journey of suffering from autoimmune disease, severe depression, and other chronic health issues for years until she radically changed her diet. By removing processed foods and focusing on whole foods, her life transformed. Stories like hers are becoming more common as people discover the power of real food.
When I was 2, I started to limp, and at 7, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in 37 joints. At age 8, I was put on injectable immunosuppressants. At 12, I was diagnosed with severe depression and put on antidepressants. At 14, I was diagnosed with idiopathic hypersomnia, and I could barely get out of bed for years. My hip and ankle were replaced when I was 17 from the arthritis that wasn't managed by the medications I was on, and I spent a year on OxyContin, limping around what felt like broken bones, trying to stay hopeful and not kill myself. I went to university for biomedical science when it became apparent that nobody in the medical system could help me, and the life-saving treatments I was on weren't saving my life. When I was 23, I completely changed my diet, which was radical, and I didn't think it was going to work. I removed processed foods and only ate whole foods, primarily meat, and my life changed rapidly.
The evidence is clear. America's health crisis isn't just a result of poor choices or willpower. It's the outcome of a deliberate profit-driven system designed to keep us sick. The food industry is a collaboration with corrupt regulatory agencies and has weaponized what we eat. But we don't have to accept this future. Healthier nations are showing us that it is possible to reverse this trend. The same companies are already making cleaner, safer products for other countries. They can do it too, right here. But it's up to you to demand it.
We can reverse this great American poisoning, and we already have a playbook on how to do it. By adopting the same chemical regulatory approach of healthier developed nations, we can take a significant and absolutely necessary step in both providing safer food and lowering healthcare costs for all Americans.
Our food system doesn't have to remain a weapon against us. It can be reformed. The power lies with us, the consumers, to demand better from both the food industry and our government. It's time to stop feeding the problem and start fueling the solution. Your health and the future of this country depends on it.